Let's talk about chiropractic and hiatal hernia. If you're new to this channel, I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So if you're new to this channel, maybe you haven't heard about hiatal hernia. So in brief, this is when your stomach gets pushed up above your diaphragm, and 80% of the time they're sliding, which means it goes up and down. So that's the most common. But what happens is often acid reflux or heartburn. You get short of breath because the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm. Because the stomach's here, diaphragm's here, and heart is right above the stomach, you can get heart palpitations, and also because of the diaphragm not moving as freely as it should, it's kind of in spasm because the stomach's pushed up against it. Your nervous system gets worried about oxygenation and gives you this feeling of anxiety or panic, and you can have outright panic attacks. So there's a lot of, I wrote the book called Hiatal Hernia Syndrome, because a syndrome is sort of a constellation of symptoms coming together, creating a problem. Now, there is a physical aspect of this, which is that your stomach being in spasm, pushing on your diaphragm, as I mentioned, kind of spasms the diaphragm. And so part of the physical aspect is, people call it a pull down. Basically, you're reaching up under the rib cage and you're releasing the spasm between the stomach and the diaphragm. And for somebody who's been short of breath for quite some time, this can feel great. I mean, we've had patients just kind of burst into tears because it's like the first deep breath they've been able to take in quite some time. Because if you think about it, being short of breath, sort of hardly moving, and, you know, kind of having to have all this air hunger. Patient was telling me yesterday, he goes, I'm a fit guy. And he said, but you know, this is a new patient, we were talking for the first time, and he goes, I've always been fit, you know, I've always worked out. And he goes, now I'm just walking with people down the hall at work, and I'm going, can you slow down? I'm sorry, I'm running out of air. And so it's very disconcerting. We've had elite athletes, singers run into this problem who, you know how to breathe. The singer knows how to breathe. Athletes know how to breathe. They're strong. Yet here they are running out of breath, having panic attacks, heart palpitations, etc. So the reason I'm talking about this subject today is that there can be a physical aspect of it. More often than not, the physical aspect of the stomach spasming and getting pushed up against the diaphragm is coming from lower down in your gut. So very commonly people have had chronic constipation or diarrhea preceding that. They've had a lot of antibiotics as kids, or maybe as a teen being on antibiotics for acne. They've been diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, perhaps. They can't tolerate fatty food. Maybe they've even had their gallbladder removed. There's a lot of digestive symptoms associated with this. So this patient who I was talking to yesterday had traveled to Houston, Texas to see a doctor of chiropractic there who looks to be an excellent doctor of chiropractic. So I'm not in any way negating his abilities. But here's my problem, is that this particular patient went and had this physical aspect addressed, which is great. You know, relaxing the diaphragm, mobilizing what's called your thoracic or your dorsal spine. So this is the part of your spine between your neck and your low back, and that's the area that sends nerves to your lungs, to the rib cage area. The nerve that actually goes to the diaphragm comes from the base of your neck. And also in your low back, there's a muscle, it's called your psoas muscle, and that actually helps the diaphragm get tethered or pulled down and relax. So there's a lot of very good reasons to work with the body structurally when you have hiatal hernia syndrome. And that's why we actually do that here. As a matter of fact, we just had a video with a patient who was visiting us for several days, and he hadn't even started his dietary change, but he said, boy, after all these years, and he has a chronic situation, he goes, after all these years, I can breathe, I feel more relaxed, I can eat more than just a small amount, because these patients that have their stomach compressed, they can't eat very much. They get full very fast. They tend to lose weight or just be digestively very irritated. So again, the reason I'm doing this video is not in any way to chastise what this doctor in Houston is doing physically for his patients, because I think he's doing a very good job. Here's what's being missed, however, is getting back to my gentleman yesterday, new patient who was reaching out to me. He said, you know, I felt great. I was there for 4 days. I got treated twice a day. It's a very robust treatment. It's full body. It appears, based on me watching a few patients the doctor treated, everybody gets the same thing done to them, which I don't love because we're not all the same and we didn't get to where we are the same way. So I like very tailored, personalized treatment, but there's a lot of mobilization, so this is good. This is a lot of positive. And this patient related that, he goes, I felt great. He said, you know, this guy's got a big personality. He's very, very positive, and he absolutely does. You can see that. He's very confident in what he does. And again, I think a great doctor of chiropractic. Here's the problem, is that it didn't last. So the patient got some relief. It didn't last. I hate that. I hate relief. I want correction. I want resolution. That's why we call the clinic root cause. And the thing that annoyed me the most, and probably the reason I'm mostly making this video, is that this particular gentleman, one of his issues was craves sugar, craves bakery products, and sugar, you know, whether you're talking about various food sensitivities and various foods that maybe suit you or not, sugar doesn't suit anyone. It feeds bacteria, it feeds viruses, it feeds cancer cells, it elevates your blood sugar, it leads to obesity. It's not good for anyone. Yet, patients are told by this doctor to, I want you to go out and I want you to eat anything you want. And on a particular video, he said, go enjoy a pepperoni pizza. See how you feel. He said to this guy, he's like, can I eat ice cream? Can I really eat ice cream? And he's like, absolutely. You go and you eat that ice cream and you'll be fine. And guess what? He wasn't fine. And so it's really, I won't say disingenuous, because I think this doctor really believes what he's saying. But big picture, the patients that I see, let me backtrack for a second, because the patients, at least that he interviewed, I watched 3 to 4 different videos, all had their problem for a relatively short period of time. And of course, he wasn't asking about digestive symptoms, because that's not what he does. But at least a couple of them said, you know, they didn't have reflux, they didn't have heartburn. So maybe it was just more structural, and then they would get great results. What I see is when someone's had this problem for a long time, when they have digestive symptoms, they have bloating, they have acid reflux or GERD, they have constipation or diarrhea, a lot of gas, they can't eat very much without getting very full. They're kind of just miserable digestively speaking. For those people, if all you're doing is the structural side of things, mobilizing their back and you know, breaking the spasm of the diaphragm, they're going to get some relief, and temporarily they're going to be able to breathe easier. And if they're having a lot of panic attacks because of the lack of motion of the diaphragm, again, they're going to feel more relaxed, and that's going to feel good. It's not going to last. That's the problem. And so I just want you to know the truth of that, because again, I want to use the word disingenuous, but I don't think this particular doctor feels like he's lying to his patients. I truly don't. But I can tell you from my knowledge, having done this for so long, is you can't go eat crap, okay? You can't eat the pepperoni pizza, which is good for no one, or the ice cream that's good for no one, and think that this is healthy and this is how you can eat the rest of your life, and it's totally fine because I broke the spasm in your diaphragm. The people that do well and predominantly need just the structural side of the equation, and each patient we see is identified very individually, and the people who don't have much in the way of digestive issues, but maybe they were just lifting something heavy. You can get a hiatal hernia because you overstrained at the gym, or you ate kind of a decently large meal and then you helped a friend move their couch, you know. So lifting can do it. You can be in a little accident enough that an airbag deploys and hits you just right, and you can get a hiatal hernia from that. These are structural types of things, or you know, a fall, something that was very physically oriented as the cause. Those are people who do well with just a physical handling. And I do meet those people, and we just give them the physical handling as well. But for the people that have the constellation of symptoms with acid reflux, you know, GERD, etc., that we've been talking about, those people are not going to do well with just the physical handling, and they're certainly not going to do well with go eat whatever you want. Whatever the most terrible food that you love and crave is, you should go out and eat that right now because you're going to be fine. That's not the case. And so I see why people want to see him and want to follow him, because that's what we want to hear. We want to live in that delusion of, I can eat whatever I want and I'll be fine. And I don't really have to take care of my body and it'll be fine. Like, shouldn't it be fine? Like, and here's this, he's a doctor and he told me it'll be fine. So I'm going to go with that because that's easy. You know, I can go there for a few days and get some relief and not have to change my diet at all, and I'll be fine. You won't be. You won't be unless the sole cause of your hiatal hernia is structural in nature. Then you will do very well. So anyway, again, I'm not trying to come down on this particular doctor. I think from the physical aspect of things, he's doing well. I just really don't think it's wise for anybody to hear that they can eat whatever they want and think this will be fine, because it just won't be. I know we love the easy fix. I just met with a woman who's just like, my doctor wants to put me on, you know, the latest diet pill, injections, Ozempic, which I've done several videos about. If you don't know the liabilities, you can definitely look on this channel and learn some more. But, you know, it's just that easy fix of where's the pill? Where's the easy thing I can do? I'm sorry, but these are what? They're treasures. This human body you have, it's very precious. It's a treasure, and it deserves your care so that you can enjoy a healthy life, great cognitive health, great energy, and a body that, you know, doesn't give you a hard time because you know how to treat it well. So that was my rant for today, Wednesday, and if you got something out of this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I want more people to hear the truth as I know it, and my team knows it. So we stay very abreast, very on the cutting edge, and we're always trying to give you the absolute truth. But you won't hear any ways to kind of sidestep things, and and this is a little cheat that you can do, because there really are no cheats that ultimately work, and I just wouldn't do that to you. So have a great Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow.